All right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone to the regular board meeting of ReGen Monterey. It's October 24th and it's 9:02, so I'll call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Chair Shirley.
Here.
Vice Chair Delgado.
Here.
Director Blackwelder. Director Askew. Director Barber.
Present.
Director Garcia Arzola.
Here.
Director McKee. Director Pedori. Director Bird.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, please join me in standing for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to public communications, anyone wishing to address the board on matters not appearing on the agenda may do so now. Anyone in the chambers? No one online? All right, I'll close public communications. We'll move on to consent. We have items, 5A through 5G. I'd like to pull 5G for just further explanation.
Sure.
5G. Is there something else you'd like to pull?
I'm sorry, I think I printed out the wrong version of the agenda.
Oh, I was looking at the online PDF. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yes,
The one I printed
is correct. Incorrect.
But the one online is correct?
The one online? Okay, yes. Yes, so I would like to pull 5G. So we have items 5A through 5G. Is there any other items that directors would like to pull?
I'd like to pull the one which was the draft calendar.
Yes, okay, so the board meeting calendar, that's 5F. Okay, great. So is there anyone from the public who would like to pull an item? All right, so let's just go ahead and address these items. We'll start with yours for category 5F for the board meeting calendar.
Sure, thanks. And good morning, everyone. I just wanted to see if this had any legs, but typically, I think there's the July 4th holiday weekend is typically July is considered like a holiday break for most of the families, and I was wondering if there's any room in here for us to move the July kind of meetings for personnel committee as well as the board committee to perhaps August or perhaps another time frame to keep the July kind of like month open.
So you want to be able to cancel the July
Right,
meetings,
right.
basically.
I don't necessarily want to cancel it. It's
Okay.
just perhaps schedule it for August and a third time frame.
Because we already have meetings in August
Okay.
too, so.
Sure.
Um,
That's my ask. I've seen that being in practice in other agencies.
yes, yeah, we, at my city, we take July off as well. So to staff on this.
We will make the consideration and we'll pin in our ability to black out July. I think historically the district has blacked out August. And so we can make the accommodations and we'll look to move stuff earlier into July or into June or into the following month of August. So yes,
Okay.
we can take that consideration into effect.
Thank you.
As we plan.
All right, thanks.
You were just talking about the special ones, the one in the first.
I was talking about both.
You were talking about both, okay.
July party at Chap's house.
If I'm there, yes.
Yeah, and I'm okay with it. I think as long as we're able to
Yeah.
cover the business we need to cover, I think that's fine. Any other thoughts on that? So do we, so this is just something that we're not gonna change this at this point, but
Right.
let's take that into consideration.
Works good.
Okay. All right, let's move on to 5G. I pulled that just because I think we needed a little bit more description on that item. So,
Thank you, Chair. I'll introduce the item. I'll ask Director Ramirez to come to the podium and share a little bit more. This is an item where staff wanted this item to be pulled. There is some transparency items that we want to make sure that we cover. all the items that we wanted to procure through Sourcewell were not available through Sourcewell, but there's also consideration for the time that we need to have these items delivered. And thus we'll have David Ramirez come up and present the items that we were not able to procure through Sourcewell. And thus we just wanted to have the open discussion at this time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Felipe. Morning, board and Chair Shirley. Here today to really give you a little more transparency into how we procured these items. So this is for the CASP project. This is the work we're doing over to convert from windrow composting to aerated static piles. And with that project, there's a need to pull electricity to that location and install transformers and switch gears and such. And that's what you're looking at with this procurement here. It includes the switchboard, which is how we turn on and off the main breaker for the system. And it also includes a transformer and a logic controller that can read how much power is being generated, et cetera. And when we went to procure this, we hit up against a time barrier. So the equipment that we originally wanted to procure was a year out. And so one of these items, which is the transformer and SEL equipment, those two items were not available in Sourcewell. And Sourcewell is our pre-negotiated procurement system where we can procure pre-negotiated pricing with a manufacturer to get the equipment here without having to go out to public bid. And so these two items were not on the list of for Sourcewell procurement. But so these would become a sole source procurement in this instance. There's a lot of advantages to going to this sole source. One I mentioned is the time, and the other is staying with the same distributor, handling it under one contract. And so we just wanted to be fully transparent that these items were not procured under the Sourcewell contract. However, they're still giving us applying some of the same multipliers that they use to get that pricing for the Sourcewell items. So this is more of a transparency item that we wanted to bring to the board and make sure you guys were aware of it, how we were procuring this stuff. Second item, I'll stop for questions and I have two more items to go over.
Yes, so if I'm understanding this correctly, excuse my voice, it's going in and out.
I got you.
Was there a RFP that was required of this to be sent out for this particular Wesco distribution to be awarded this? Or was this something that, because you couldn't get it from the main source that we normally deal with, that you ended up just reaching out to this other distribution?
Well, this distributor is listed on Sourcewell. The first item on here, which is the switchboard, that is listed on Sourcewell. And so what Sourcewell enables us to do is to go to one procurement entity and get that equipment, so we don't have to go out to multiple and do an RFP and do all that. So it's a little bit of a shortcut that we're grateful for, that is allowed in our procurement practices.
Okay.
So it gives us lets us be faster in how we procure it, and it also guarantees that the public is getting a good price for these items. And so
And they're on this Sourcewell.
they're on this
Where
Sourcewell list.
They've already been vetted.
Exactly, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
But these two things were not in Sourcewell, but they adjusted the price to.
Exactly,
Because
yeah.
it was a 12-month lead time.
Exactly,
So you
so,
basically got it almost the same parity of pricing,
and
but got it delivered soon.
yes, and the timing is really the key on this. When you're in construction, you want those pieces of equipment there when you need them. And, you know, we took a element that was 12 months out and reduced it to 20 weeks. So that's a big win for the project and means that we don't have to wait for that stuff to arrive here.
Yeah, can you confirm that had we gone out to bid for the unbid items, that it might have been plus or minus a couple grand on 78 grand?
Exactly that. And so these items total about $80,000 or so. And the margins there are not very great between getting it from one distributor to the next. So the the price differential is not that great. And in this case, timing is really key. If we get this ordered this month, we are getting the equipment in March, which puts us right in time for the construction period. It rolls right in when they put it on the pad, and there's a lot of efficiencies there.
Thank you.
Second item, which is a good news item, is in between the board packet being published and now we got confirmation from Cal Recycle that one, they approved our extension for the project. So Cal Recycle was granting us $4 million for this project. And they extended our project fund availability to April of 2027. So we're going to be well within the time frame that we need to complete this job. We look to go to construction in spring and be completed by end of summer. So that's a really great thing that Cal Recycle did that. The second great thing is that they allowed us to adjust the budget. So we had talked about using some of those Cal Recycle funds instead of buying a slow speed shredder to applying those funds to another element of the project that would enable us to buy more equipment and kind of meet our project budget goals. And they approved that as well. So that's about $800,000 that is now going to be available to the project to buy other equipment. So really grateful to Cal Recycle for accepting our information and approving that. So that was a big win for the project.
Yeah.
And the third thing I want to mention here is I just want to give appreciation to the staff, the engineering staff, for all the work they've put into this. It started from it had a slow start, a long period. We sprinted at the beginning and it's turning into a marathon of a project. And I think the district is going to get a really good product because of the engineering staff and that's working here. So Katie, big shout out to Katie, who's done a lot of work on this project. And it's a big milestone. Big milestone in a lot of ways, getting that information from Cal Recycle, and that's due to the staff we have. So
Did our legal staff help on that?
on the recycle grant, legal staff is stellar in all areas. So it's like, and all things, yes, Deborah has been an extreme help. Really appreciate all the work she does as well. So can't say enough about the team. So thanks.
Good job.
Other questions?
Great. Questions on this? Thank you for.
Thank you, everybody.
David, I really appreciate it. Great work. All right, so I'll take a motion for the consent items 5A through 5G.
Motions for consent to be approved.
All right.
Second.
All right, so first by Dr. Barber, second by Director Burns. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. We'll move on to 6A, the financial report for September.
Morning, everybody. Q1 numbers look reasonably good. I'll start off with that. Our operating revenue in the month of September was about 200K below budget. And the biggest reason for that is the fact we have no power revenue essentially in the month of September. And MRF sales are still good. However, commodity prices have taken a hit. So we're not seeing as much revenue from the commodity side. Operating expenses are below budget in September. Employment expenses and other operating expenses. Partially because the power plant being shut down, we don't have very much, we have effectively have no repair and maintenance costs for that activity in the month. So in the month of September, our net income was 542K against a budget of 183. So we're 359 over for the month. In the quarter, our tip fee revenue is about 300K below budget, and that's certain regional customers. And I guess specifically you could look at Watsonville is below budget. And again, power sales are much lower. And the MRF sales are taking a hit because of lower commodity prices. Bottom line in September, if the first quarter is, we're about 2.1 million. And against budget of 746, so we're 1.3 million ahead of budget. Year-to-date net income. Capital spending through the first quarter is about 2.3 million. And we have consumed about $5.6 million of cash. Compared to the same period last year when it was $3 million. So we're spending about $2.6 million more in the first quarter of this year than we did in the first quarter of last year. And that's kind of where we are in the first quarter. Any questions, I'll be happy to take them.
Thank you, Bert.
Sure, if I could just add a little bit on the
Yeah.
power plant. The power plant continues to remain, not operating. And we have scheduled a, Pacific Gas and Electric to come out. We have to fill out an application for them to come and shut off the power coming into our facility so we can examine the transformer. That's been scheduled for November 11th. It couldn't come fast enough for us. And I did share with the chair and the vice chair, that we, have a best case scenario that, something could be repaired within the transformer at the time that we analyze it. And worst case scenario could be that we need a whole transformer altogether. So we'll keep the board informed of our position and, as we are executing on just getting the ability to generate power again, we are working on over the fence sales opportunities at the same time. So it does come relatively at pretty good timing as we're working through one, we can get through the other and hopefully be prepared January to start performing a little bit better on our power source. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yes, Director Robert.
So you said that we spent 2 million more than last year at this time. What's the reason for that? Is it
Reason for that is,
power?
yeah, well, it's not the power plant, it's more of the money that we spent on the Mod 7 development. It's been some
Okay.
very large expenditure, in the millions of dollars we've spent
Because of that.
because of that, that's cash that we spent, and that's all budgeted. It's a capital item, so it doesn't affect the operating results.
But that's that's why it's just too.
That's.
Than last year.
Right, exactly.
All right, any other questions? Yeah, Director Adalgado.
Thank you, Gar. I'm looking at your staff report. It says cost of employment is below budget due to higher CalPERS expense and open positions. Can you talk a little bit about the higher CalPERS expense?
Well, we budgeted more in CalPERS expense than we've actually incurred. And part of the reason, we've actually probably got a bit of an error in our budget, in that we included in our budgeted CalPERS expense overtime, because we build overtime costs into our budget. However, overtime is not a PERSable item. So, that's not gonna, end up costing us money. And I also mentioned too, that, we've still got, some positions, some vacant positions that haven't been filled. And when we did the fiscal 26 budget for personnel costs, we had some very high paid employees included in that budget who were no longer here. So that's gonna reduce our actual CalPERS expense. So we can look forward to actually seeing, a plus on the CalPERS expense for the rest of the year.
Okay. And on that subject of CalPERS, I wonder if we could have a presentation on the shelf ready to go for when we have a relatively slow agenda sometime in the future, just to refresh the board and staff on our CalPERS policy, our CalPERS status and all that. If the board is interested, I always forget the details about CalPERS, but I just know that it's often a big concern. So it's good for me to stay refreshed, and I'm not at the point right now, I'm not very refreshed on where we are at CalPERS, where CalPERS is going, and when we're gonna see the rise start to decline and stuff.
Yeah, but that would be a good idea. We get a couple of reports from CalPERS every year on what our unfunded liability is and what the valuation of our CalPERS fund is. And it would probably be good just to kind of go through that, at a fairly high level. We don't want to dive down into the nitty-gritty of it, but just so that everybody has an understanding of here's what the numbers are and here's kind of what they mean.
Thank you.
Yeah, so,
Yes,
thank you. Thank you for preparing this. Is it correct to say that the utilities in the statement of net position, which shows that it's worse than before. Is it because of the power related item?
And you're looking at the,
The utilities, it all shows like 117,000 down, 125,000 down.
over budget. Well, that's kind of a result of the power plant being shut down. Yeah, and that we are now buying all of our power from PG&E.
Okay.
And so we've had some very large PG&E bills in the past couple of months.
Okay, so hoping for some resolution on there. The other thing, and this is in the financial and operations review, September 2025, the last statement says Greenway September total tip revenue, and goes on to say that Greenway September revenue is 45,000 lower than the prior month. Is that because of less tonnage, or is it something else?
It's less tonnage.
So less tonnage is it? I just wanted to call that out, as less tonnage is probably a good thing, means less waste, right?
Yes.
Is it, okay, and then it goes on to say that first quarter green waste revenue is 2.17 million compared to 1.85 million in the same period last year, meaning we've obviously either received more or getting more revenue.
Yeah, and the biggest fluctuation with the green waste is we get two materials from them. We get MSW, which is material that's been berthed over in San Jose, and it comes here and it goes straight to the landfill. And we also get ADC, alternate daily color cover. And we have agreements with green waste that says, basically, this is how much volume you're expected to deliver. And there's a cap on the ADC as to how much they deliver, because the ADC goes to the landfill as well. And the rate they pay for the ADC is cheaper than what they pay for the MSW. So for a period last year, they were sending us lots of ADC. And we said, well, wait a second, guys, you're way over what your annual expected delivery amount is. We need to cut this back, or we need to adjust the pricing. We'll charge you the same price as we charge the gate rate for MSW. Of course, they didn't want any part of that. So they've adjusted their ADC deliveries, and we've gone through periods of time, like months, where they don't send any at all. Because they keep track of what their volume is, we keep track of their volume, and then they pick it up again once kind of the new year starts in terms of measuring volume, and then they start bringing more. So that's the biggest difference between this year and last year with green waste. The MSW remains relatively flat. It does not change dramatically month to month, but it's the ADC portion that fluctuates up and down.
And so just, and I think I know the answer, but I just want to double confirm this. So this green waste revenue, which it seems like fluctuating based on whether we get the MSW or ADC and what distribution that is. It's not related to the commodity value. So commodity value is dropping at 30% is not going to impact this.
Yeah, that's a different
Okay.
different thing.
All right, thank you.
You, any other questions? All right, thank you, Garth. Okay, we'll move on to 7. We've got recognition and presentation. So 7A, illegal dumping and litter abatement task force update and presentation.
Thank you, Chair. Today we have Maria Fernand with Monterey County. She helps us coordinate our litter abatement task force functions, and she's here to give an annual presentation, and we appreciate taking the time. We know she's very busy, and all the coordinating efforts with our team, our comms team, our ops team. Jameson plays a big role in what we do here locally in our area, but this is litter abatement across the county. So we're pretty excited to get the updates today, and we've made some pretty significant progress over the last year. So we're excited with changes that are taking into effect. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you. Oh, here we go. I'm just double checking. Go backwards. Okay. It's a little counterintuitive, the direction, I think.
The directions are opposite on that.
Okay, here we go. All right,
There you go.
right. It's not you, it's the clicker. I'm gonna go with that. Thank you very much for invited me to present to you. I appreciate the opportunity and also I want to give everybody a baseline from where we can, where we talk about illegal dumping. And some of you already know me as local enforcement agency. I actually come here every month to do an inspection of the landfill and the compost site. And so, and whenever there's a permit application, I'm the one who, and my staff, we're the ones who actually process it. So my other job is illegal dumping. I'm the co-chair of the illegal dumping task force and we are non-funded. So it's all voluntary, but as you know, it's a necessary part of what we do in the county and everyone is affected. You pay your taxes, you're paying for illegal dumping eradication and abatement. And I'm gonna share with you where we are right now, okay? So believe it or not, we have a cadre of people who are Monterey County's fight against illegal dumping. And this presentation was given to the board of Salinas Valley Recycles. I have since updated it just a little bit. So there's been some information included about the Lapis Road cameras. Here we go. So there is a fiscal cost to illegal dumping in Monterey County, and these numbers are from a period that includes COVID. You would think that being sequestered at home, there'll be a reduction in illegal dumping, but no, that is not true. Between 2017 and 2022, we as a county, as a tax-paying unit in California, paid $1.7 million for abatement of illegal dumping. This is strictly paying people to go out on the street and pick up illegal dumping from our streets. Okay, I'll get this. Okay. So the illegal dumping and a little bit of a task force is formally an ad hoc committee. Originating, what is this, 26 years ago, almost 30 years ago? So we've been around a while. The original purpose of our group, our ad hoc group, was to fact find public education recommendations to the Board of Supervisors. The original members were all internal agencies, environmental health, sheriff, district attorneys, public works, and the CAO's office. Yeah. Okay. We have since grown our membership to include other county agencies, city members, other agency stakeholders, and waste service providers, nonprofits, and members of the public. Members of the public are invited to join our quarterly meetings. We have quarterly meetings. They're basically us getting together and sharing information about illegal dumping, what we're doing, what other counties are doing. And we have subcommittee meetings where they're actual working meetings to get things done, to push forward our own goals. So this was a revelation a couple of years ago about the 3 E's. And we've been always working on eradication and education and some enforcement, not all three. What we've learned now is that when you look at illegal dumping, you're actually looking at 3 pillars. We have to work on all 3, otherwise they don't support each other. Enforcement, well, education of the public, sharing to the public what it means for illegal dumping for the community. And eradication, you need to get people out there and pick up the garbage, otherwise it just attracts and invites other garbage, right? Then there's enforcement. You find people who are illegally dumping and you find them. You put them through some kind of enforcement action. That part we haven't been doing very well. But things are changing. So enforcement, we increase illegal dumping fines, which we've done. Administrative citations process, we actually have a process for issuing administrative citations. We've implemented a pilot surveillance program last year. And illegal dumping, when necessary, are referred to the DA's office. For eradication, We have litter abatement services with an MOU with the county. Disposal voucher. Monterey County has a very unique program. And every time I present this out of county, people ask me, how are you funding that? I don't understand what you're doing. That's amazing. So the disposal voucher program is essentially, Salinas Valley Recycles and ReGen put in $5,000 every year that we can issue vouchers to people who have been illegally dumped on, or community activists, community folks who want to clean up a park. And you can do that, just apply to get a voucher. And all you have to do is take all the stuff, put it in your truck, and the voucher is, you can dispose of it free at ReGen. You don't have to pay for it. The voucher will let you do that. So this program has been going on for maybe 20 years now. And it's very unique to Monterey County, and I don't know why other counties don't do it. Education, we have social media campaigns, unified multilingual messaging on prevention. We have Earth Day events, we have community cleanups, and we have quarterly newsletters. So there's a lot we do on the education front. Enforcement process. We have increased our fines from 100, 200, 500 to 2,500, 5,000. I'm sorry, 2,500, 5,000, and $10,000. These are successive fines that we issue related to illegal dumping. We've implemented an administrative citation process. And this is actually very important. I don't have to be law enforcement to issue an administrative citation. So it's very quick. And there is a process for the responsible party to challenge us. So it's already built in, and anyone on my staff, anyone in environmental health can issue an administrative citation. We don't need sheriff, we don't need PD, and it's very quick to issue one. And the increase in the fines, I believe that happened last year. Monterey County Board of Supervisors. The Climate Surveillance Program. So environmental health got really lucky and with some found money, and we decided to go ahead and purchase 6 reconnaissance cameras and install them in 3 hotspots in the county. There's no shortage of hotspots in Monterey County. So our requirement was that it was easily accessible by the public, well, me, and cell service. So the cameras themselves are cellular enabled, they're solar powered. They're motion activated, they're inexpensive, and they deliver high quality images for the cost. And all the images they go up to the cloud, so you don't put them on a disk. You can, but it's, it reduces the requirement for routine maintenance. They are also license plate capable, meaning that the image will clear up the fuzziness and the reflective nature of the license plate. And so that I can read the letters and the numbers. And it also has infrared, interestingly, and it resolves an image to 150 feet. Environmental Health funded the hardware and the annual subscription. We go through a company called Epic.io, and they provide the dashboard, the cloud dashboard, in which all the cameras feed images into. The hardware cost about $13,000. That includes the camera, the housings, solar equipment, and the security housing. And the cameras. The annual subscription is about $6,500 a month. That includes servicing all the cameras, all 6 cameras. So here's a couple of images from the Lapis cameras. I'm going to show you one, the quality and some of our successes, and how quickly illegal dumping happens. So this gentleman, this happened the week we installed the cameras, the very week. So September 19th, 2024, this gentleman in a very, very expensive truck stops on Lapis Road. one of the shoulders on Lapis Road, and there's quite a number of shoulders where you can pull off safely and, do your business. He stops at 2:18. This is in the afternoon, broad daylight, 2:18, 28. He gets out of his car and he disposes of a box spring mattress. That's 2:18, 34. Gets in his car and leaves 2:18, 57. This is 29 seconds. It took him 29 seconds to do this. He was gone. I haven't located this individual, and I've put out PSAs about him. So what's interesting is that this was broad daylight. He's got a very expensive truck. And these mattresses, if you come here, you can dispose of them for free. My guess is that he didn't want to wait in line. So I catch him, it's the $2,500 citation. So here's another one, same week, the same inaugural week. Okay, the photograph on the far right is an individual driving a small truck, and it's piled high with bulky folded furniture. So I saw this on the camera. No, actually, I drove down Lapis Road, wanted to see if there was anything there. And I see this small cluster of bulky furniture. And I thought, I wonder if he's on the camera. And sure enough, there he is. And I know it's the same individual because he used rope to strap down the couch to his truck. And you can see in the photograph on the left, the line of the rope on the truck, on the couch. So I gave him a citation too. I was able to find him with the sheriff's department. We located the individual, we found where he lived, and I issued a citation. He's yet to pay for it.
Does he live in PG?
No, it's not.
All of this happens in the county.
Hmm?
Most of the dumping happens in the county, I'm guessing. Not exactly,
Mostly, no.
or maybe in Marina.
We don't have that information, but that's, it's good to speculate that. And these cameras, once they get, once we're all equipped and have this dragnet of infrastructure, we can test that hypothesis. We can point to who's responsible. So this is another one. This happened actually in July, and I want to thank Jameson for providing these photographs because nothing substitutes good quality photographs in which to, make deductions about who this person is. This was reported back in July 2000 of this year. Monterey County checked the cameras, and I found a U-Haul vehicle entering this on the south side of Lapis Road at 1:58 a.m. And they exited toward the north at 2:08 a.m. And I'm wondering, that's 10 minutes. What is this person doing for 10 full minutes? It's a short road. So the DA investigated, they identified the person responsible and issued a citation. So they did a little gumshoe work and found that the person was cleaning up because their landlord told them to. And they decided to clean up on Lapis Road.
It was reported by somebody from BG.
Oh, hold on, there we go. And this really exemplifies the need for what happens when you have good photographs and communication among agencies and a good working relationship. And to my surprise, and I learned this very early on, there really is a dragnet of cameras throughout the county. And I don't have access to them, but law enforcement, they do. And if you have questions, you need to identify someone, they can help out. So I wanted to show you the photograph on the far left. You'll see a plastic, it's actually plastic, small plastic garbage can. But you'll notice something unique about the can. It's got this stress fracture right on the side. So some of these photographs had images of an address. So I looked up the address. And I just Googled it, right? And I found this address and I looked at the front porch and I noticed, oh, there's a garbage can there. Well, look at that. It's got the same stress fracture. I'm like, I've got them. That's not funny. So I just want to underscore the fact that, you know, if you got good photographs, it's like magic. You can find anybody. You can deduce all kinds of things about the garbage of the individual. So thank you. Okay, I wanted to show you these images because the cameras do have infrared imaging technology. And when I noticed the U-Haul, one, it was obvious that it was a U-Haul, but I didn't have the license plate, so I couldn't identify it that way. But I shared these images with the DA's investigator and they were on it. So it was a simple thing of calling the U-Haul and finding who rented the vehicle. So and after that, it just went fast. Who we identified. So I just wanted to show you these images from the Reconyx cameras on Lapis Road. So eradication. Eradication is actually is of course one of the 3 E's, and getting the material, getting the illegal dumping off the roads is actually a very important component of combating illegal dumping. Public Works has a litter guard, but and they do routine roadside collection. They also have an alternative work program where they work with I think prisoners doing detail. We also have an MOU with Smith and Enright, and they do a huge bulk of the roadside cleanup. And Public Works also does reporting. The public is also invited to report illegal dumping. Monterey County has Monterey County Connect app that allows the public to do that very quickly, efficiently. They can upload photographs of the illegal dumping, or they can report it directly to environmental health. And we get complaints about illegal dumping every day, like 3 or 4 every day. Annually, the county collects 150 to 200 tons annually. And the top 3 most popular items are tires for illegal dumping, are tires, mattresses, and CRTs.
What are CRTs?
The TVs.
Oh, okay.
And interestingly, you know, tires and mattresses tend to be free at permitted
CRTs
facilities.
too?
I'm sorry?
CRTs too,
Oh, okay.
electronic waste.
And they're the most popular ones you see on the side of the road. So we're not sure why that is. We're not sure. We have a gap of information. And we're also working on funding a survey for why people do things, and why they throw out things that aren't free. What sort of hours would benefit them as far as coming to the landfill and doing the right thing? Education. The disposal vouchers for Monterey County, it's administered by the county. It would be solid waste services. It's funded by Salinas Valley Recycles and ReGen. The community, we also have community cleanups, and I'm sorry. The disposal vouchers are available for community cleanups and individuals who have been disposed of, who are victims of illegal dumping on their property. In 2024, we issued 20 vouchers, so it is undersubscribed as far as the program goes. And we do our best to let the public know this is available to them. On a quarterly basis, the Illegal Dumping and Litter Abatement Task Force and the Eradication Subcommittee have litter cleanup events. We do this on a quarterly basis. And we want the public to see us when we're out there, that Monterey County actually, you know, we do what we say we were doing. We do what we want you to do. Education. The Illegal Dumping Task Force has a quarterly newsletter that we push out. We do Earth Day cleanups. I think we're probably in our 20th year doing Earth Day cleanups. Public awareness using PSAs and multilingual outreach. Education, social media, and regional campaign. Quarterly, we do quarterly social media posts. They're thematic and consistent content, consistent across platforms. And we have no budget. And we do this internally as part of our work. We as a group, the Illegal Deputy Task Group, produced reels and videos. Even one with a county board member. I think you can definitely YouTube this one up on the upper left. So future goals of the Illegal Dumping Litter Abatement Task Force, develop infrastructure. Seek funding for the 3 E's. Framework. Put in a framework in place for eradication, education, and enforcement. And refine enforcement process. The enforcement process that environmental health has right now. We're implementing it, but we're also refining it also. We don't, as a county, generally do no dumping sites, but understand that Lapis Road is getting some, so awesome. And community-based social marketing, so this is gonna fill in some of the gap of information that we don't have. We always make assumptions about why people do illegal dumping. We're a rural county with a rural population, and some of the population rotates out. So we incorporate some of that into our assumptions, but we could be wrong. Because we still have illegal dumping. So we're trying to educate ourselves and refine our information. And stay involved both in state task force and Clean California designation. We've applied for this and haven't heard back. So everything they want us to do, we've been doing for a long time. So we just want to underscore with a designation that the state identifies. We also want to encourage the public to get involved, both as reporting illegal dumping and practicing proper disposal habits. And that concludes my presentation. And this photograph is our backyard. It's the Ventana Wilderness, and in springtime, you'll see an abundance of lupin out there. In fact, you will smell them before you see them. And that's it.
Thank you, Maria.
You're welcome.
I have some questions, but other questions? We'll start with Alexa.
Thank you for the presentation. I just have a couple of questions. What is the process in which you give a citation? The reporting that goes behind it, how do you track citations, and how do you ensure that you're accurately giving?
Yeah.
And I know you have footage, but what's the process for you?
Yeah. So, okay. I can give you a couple of examples, very recent ones. So we get complaints from apartment managers who are complaining that this person who's come up to their garbage dump, they don't recognize them, but they're disposing of their trash in their dump. So we have photographic evidence of that. They actually have cameras, and they show us screen grabs of the responsible person. In those instances, we give a first letter warning. And if they do it again, we will issue them a citation, and all that is described in the first notice. We've gotten a bunch of those this year. Property managers have cameras positioned straight at their garbage bin. And I think they're just fed up with people coming and disposing of their stuff who don't live there. So we've gotten maybe 5 of those this year.
And this might be a more technical question, but who collects the citation?
They're issued by environmental health. We get it. The check is written to environmental health.
Okay, and the funding goes to further support efforts, or?
That's a good question. I assume it goes to the general fund, but that is actually a good question.
And then you mentioned, the newsletter, how can people sign up for newsletters? Do you have any marketing materials that you want with us today or? Are we gonna share some?
They're pushed out, I'm sorry, they're pushed out to all county agencies. Um, yeah, that's, okay.
And then you mentioned you did Reels and YouTube. Was there any interest in possibly, or are you guys looking to paid advertisement, whether it's on YouTube, TV, other platforms that you can just send that information?
Yes, we don't have money. If we-
That's why I asked, where was the money going to that you collected? Was it gonna go to more efforts into that? But, okay. Great, thank you.
Uh-huh,
Yes, first of all, thank you for this. I think you need to go into the detective agency. Like how? How the, the one photo led to, the citation, so that was wonderful. But I was wondering, with the increase in fines from the time, have you seen a decrease in the illegal dumping?
that's actually an excellent question, and it's a good hypothesis. It's something we can test, something we are testing, right? But it's too early.
Okay, because I'm, the academic side of me and the research is like, well, I'm wondering
Yeah.
the correlation.
Yep.
And I'm just curious if it makes a difference. I'd love to hear back,
Yeah.
once you guys have enough information.
Yeah, the county provides information about all the stuff that they pick up on the side of the road. And we get that report on a monthly basis. So over time, you would expect increasing fines, people know about it, decreasing
Right.
in
But
illegal
I don't know
dumping.
whether that hypothesis is correct, so.
Right,
Yeah.
neither do I.
I looked into this in preparation for this meeting, and unfortunately, at least from our perspective in helping clean Lapis Road. 2024, we had 18 tickets related to our team picking up and going across the scales. This year we have 42.
Mm.
Hmm.
And that was.
To date, 2025 through 9 months, it's 42, and last year for the whole year it was 18.
Okay.
With the same amount of monitoring being done.
Mhm.
For that particular,
Mhm.
hotspot though.
Just Lapis Road.
Right,
We,
not all.
yeah.
Cause I'd like to see overall.
Yeah.
I mean, Lapis Road, yes, but I'd like to see overall what the impact is there.
Yeah.
Great work though.
Thank you.
Other questions?
I just wanted to, to echo, Alexa's comment here, if you could share this material and anything coming out of this presentation, which we can disseminate at our end, that'll be helpful. And when you started on the presentation, I wasn't getting up, I thought this was just at the unincorporated level, really the county and a side that's actually all the stuff is happening. The cities usually take care, we have stuff in PG too, but we take care of it. So I was wondering if, the cameras, for instance, can cities like have a partnership with you to get the cameras going at their end to kind of like form a partnership approach where we do the same kind of mechanics that you're doing, but at a city level. Is that something that's possible or not?
I would say initially, yes. But when you, my understand, okay, step back. I mentioned before that there's a dragnet of cameras. And right now, I think they're available mostly to law enforcement. And so you already have cameras. You're using it for law enforcement purposes. If you decide, oh, let's use it also for illegal dumping, let's see how that works. And again, you probably already have the network of cameras installed. It would be a matter of talking to law enforcement and partnering that way. So
But like you said, just to peel back the layer a little bit, so in Pacific Grove, we do have cameras. The cameras are essentially used to tackle, I would say, crime related
Yeah.
items, not exactly illegal dumping.
Yeah.
And so those are installed in spots where folks are leaving town or coming into town, so you can track who's actually being clean, so to speak. But the illegal dumping has its own hotspots.
Yeah.
And we don't have cameras there. And these cameras that we have are, I would say, more or less like, the same kind of like company, it's Flock.
Mhm.
And it's the same kind of company like uses it for other cities in the region too.
Mhm.
It's not necessarily the camera company that you provided here.
Mhm.
So it's a different set, and I don't know what kind of mechanic goes behind what to screen versus not to screen in flock versus this item. And this looked to be, at least the face of it looked to be relatively cheaper compared to flock, but I may be off. And I was just wondering, instead of 6, if you had like 100, you could have it everywhere in
Yeah.
all cities. And perhaps that will help the task force that you were talking about too, in some way.
Yeah.
Because they could then gather volunteers, look at cameras, maybe do the same kind of work that you're doing at a bigger level.
Yeah. You're, a couple of things. The flock cameras, I'm almost sure that they're more expensive than these, Reconyx cameras. There are some limitations with the Reconyx cameras, meaning that, you need personnel to view them. I would love to have 100 cameras all over the county. That would be wonderful. But you also need people to manage it and also to oversee it. As far as partnership goes, I'm not saying no to anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll look at the material, we'll take it from there. Thank you.
Okay.
Can I, just add something to, the block cameras, because we have it in our city as well, and I think Atlantic does too. It's just the license plate reader, and because of, I don't know about the other cities, how it was approved, they can only look at that, they can't look at people, and, because I noticed in some of their cameras, you could see people and all that. That was one of the biggest issues and concerns from the public when we even had it up on our agenda, was that invasion of privacy, what is it actually shooting, and it was approved specifically, and it was stated, it's just actually pulling the license plate.
Right.
So everything else is kind of blurred where you can't see a person or figure, so it wouldn't be able to be used for the same thing, because you can see that license plate, but if you have the same picture of the truck or the person who was dumping it, you wouldn't be able to see any of the other pieces behind there per se, but because it's kind of used for different things, just like you were saying, for more criminal type of things, and we utilize all of the cities that have block. And so I think it would be a separate contract of what would be used for them, because the citizens are very specific about their privacy. And I know that the way ours was approved, it was approved specifically for license plate reader only, and not picking up. If you're like coming past that car at the time, going to buy groceries, it's not picking you up or anything else.
Yeah, I mean, we can't use it for feeding either, so it's like,
Uh-huh.
one of those things where totally on point, there's a privacy item related to all of this.
Hmm.
So we need to consider that obviously.
Hmm.
But, yeah, and this is a great presentation. I didn't know this was happening at such a grand scale and just on a voluntary basis, so kudos to you and your team, and
Thank you.
let's hope for greater things.
It's funny to hear it described as grand scale, but, thank you.
Director Delgado, I'm guessing you might have a few things you want to ask for, sir.
Thank you, Maria, for a good presentation. How many citations have been issued and how many citations have been paid?
1, 2, 3, I can count them on one hand. Right now it's 5, up to 5, up to 5.
Paid,
Um,
5 issued, up
Yeah.
to 5 issued.
up to 5,
Do you know how many of those have been paid?
0.
Zero.
But I'm gonna double check.
Okay, and
And one of them has been issued because of porting, not because of the cameras.
okay. What, is there a single most common drawback to why they're not getting paid?
It's expensive.
Okay, so if you give me a citation for 2,500, I get it in the mail. If I just blow it off, what happens?
We have an administrative citation hearing process. And an individual has 30 days to pay it or respond to a couple of things. One, they can challenge it, say, that wasn't me. They can say, oh, it's too expensive. Let's do something else. Those are 2 options.
Okay.
After the 30 days, we begin a admin hearing process. And that's the process that we're refining.
Okay, so that July 30th incident, it's ongoing through that process that you're refining.
We're refining it, yes.
Okay, thank you. The nighttime surveillance. Do you wish you had better cameras for nighttime?
Yeah, I think it's. I use refinement again, it's a refinement of how high you install the cameras. And, you know, and how yeah, the higher it is, the lower the shorter the distance of the infrared resolution. But the lower you bring your camera, it'd be subject to target practice and theft. And once you see it, you can't unsee it.
The no dumping signs were put in several months ago, maybe a year ago. And then it is planned to put in no dumping signs that are new, that say no dumping, $2,500 fine.
Nice.
And I think that the new signs are gonna make a bigger difference than the old signs made, but the old signs are good too. So I want to appreciate that and mention that. This is to Felipe on Del Monte Boulevard, not far from, just west of Charlie Benson Lane. It's kind of an old sign that says Monterey Regional Waste Management District, like adopt a highway, we clean up. Is that program still active? So I know Jameson and other staff do an amazing job. Do we do other things relative to that sign?
We do not perform the work for that sign. That sign is done through Caltrans, so we put in a request to adopt that highway, and Zoe could talk a little bit about more what we've been doing over the years with the sign itself, but we don't perform the activities for that kingdom.
Okay, but because of that sign, we pay Caltrans money and they do work.
Little clarification. So Felipe's right that we do pay Caltrans for two different sections of road on Highway 1 specifically. One that is just south and north of our particular facility, and another one that is just north of like Fremont Boulevard, like the north side entrance to Highway 1. So kind of like adjacent to was it the Seaside Highlands area. So there's two 2-mile strips that we fund through Caltrans, and we pay a separate agency. The whole program costs us annually $8,600 to fund those two areas of roads. This sign that you're referring to, I believe, is actually a County of Monterey program that I believe it predates me. It has to do with adopting the strip of Del Monte Boulevard, as you mentioned. And I don't have the background on that particular program or how it was established, nor do I have the information as to if it's ongoing, but I am aware of the efforts that Communities for Sustainable Marina is performing on that road, and also the free disposal that we have as a result of that section of road. So I think that's something that we could dig into a little bit further to see if that program is, and maybe Maria knows if that program is still an active program throughout the county, and if that particular sponsorship is still active. But that's kind of how I've envisioned that sign, our name still being on that sign is largely due to the work that you're doing through Community Sustainable Marina, and we're also doing with the free disposal, but I have to double check that.
Okay, no further, I'm not asking any further digging. I was just curious about the sign.
Yeah.
Do we have a copy of the presentation?
Yeah.
Emailed to us?
Yeah.
Source down. Thank you. It's a great presentation. And finally, I just want to say again, Jameson and the rest of the staff, including Felipe, they look at Lapis Road every single day of the year pretty much. And then when something shows up, Jameson is on it. He sent Maria information on this date. There was nothing there. At this time on this date, there was something there. So if you could check the cameras between these two times, and that's got to be helpful for Maria, not having to look through hours and hours.
Yeah.
Because of his really good record keeping, and the photographs already been mentioned, often have evidence in them, and Jameson is really a detective as well, that helps Maria. So I just want to say thank you to all the staff. It's an amazing program going on locally here at Lapis Road, and it's our gateway, it's our neighborhood. We're doing our best to keep it clean. It's a good partnership, and we couldn't do it without Maria. When she goes on vacation, we're down, right? And she's really critical. So thank you, Maria.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And thank you to the board for allowing me to make a presentation, and of course to staff as well.
Thank you, Maria. I just had a couple comments. First, I thank you so much for coming and educating us. I appreciate that. I love your approach, your kind of three-prong approach, the enforcement, eradication, and education. I'm curious, I think about the population that we're dealing with who does the dumping. And do you feel like your education is geared towards that population? Again, it's a very nebulous population. I know we're trying to, I think about like, okay, how do you do prevention of this? And, what do those, what do people need to not dump? And so I guess my first question is, do you feel like your education is geared towards people who may dump?
I think we can do better. I know that there's an opportunity to focus on that population. And we haven't really, explored all the options that we have available to us. And it's fairly low hanging fruit as far as not needing a lot of funding and actually producing our own, content and just simply translating it and providing it to that demographic. We do a lot, I think, on educating kids, because it's also low hanging fruit, and kids are very interested in that kind of stuff. And but yeah, we can do better. Do better. There's always room for improvement as far as education is concerned. And education doesn't need a whole lot of funding.
Right. The other thing I'm thinking of is, this is certainly, I think we need like a multiple agency approach to this. I don't think it's just the county that's gonna do this. I think you need the support of law enforcement. You probably need the support of our agency as well. And since the items that you find most, are tires, mattresses, and, TVs, which can all be dumped for free if you go to the right place, it makes me wonder if part of our job might be reaching out to the community to do more kind of free drop-offs. I know I've seen on Nextdoor people say like, hey, when's the next drop-off for electronic waste? Or like, could we put out a bin where you could say, put your old tires in here? Or, I don't know, collecting mattresses seems super bulky and hard, but I'm just wondering like if there's other opportunities for multiple agencies to be working together on this problem, to really kind of go to the communities and say like, here, we're here to help it. And I know, the education that's coming out of our waste haulers has been really good. I'm wondering if there could be something that says, hey, did you know, this is, you can dump this, and maybe not dump, you can dispose of for free and it's fast, or, whatever it is. I just feel like, I appreciate what you're doing. I think it's really great, but I think maybe there's more that we can do.
There's certainly more that we can do. We just don't know what it is. If you look at, when you look at the infrastructure we have in place right now, what do we offer the public? You have service at your home, bulky pickup for free. Just call us. Tires, mattresses, CRTs for free. Just come to the facility. You want a community cleanup? We do that up and down the county. All kinds of communities do that on a frequent basis every year. So what more is where's the gap? Monterey County is rural. There are huge swaths of land that are dark. And there's so many opportunities just to pull up your truck and no one's gonna see you. There are no cameras and it's dark to do your business. So where is that gap? So that's our struggle. That's our challenge.
Yeah. Zoe, I know you have something to say, but I have a question for Zoe real quick. So I know with green waste, we get little stickers, right? You can do extra pickups. Do all the haulers do like, bulky pickups for free?
Yes, all the haulers in our service area have bulky pickups. I think it depends individually on the contract with the city as to what the parameters are, like how many you get and how many, like how many pickups per year, calendar year you get, how many items you can set out on that pickup, the size of those items. That program has also been, I would say, highlighted in newsletters and things like that from the different haulers pretty well. We can always do more, but that's always been an underutilized service for what is like a really great option for folks that either don't have vehicles to bring it this way or don't have the time or whatever it may be. So I think there could be more uptake on what is a really fantastic program for the public. And I think there's also potentially more opportunity when we look at the next franchise agreement coming in 2030. You know, what services that Maria's spoke quite a bit about the impacts to unincorporated Monterey County, but that doesn't mean that all of the impacts that are being felt in unincorporated Monterey County are originating from unincorporated Monterey County. They may be originating from any of the other jurisdictions, and that happens to be the most rural space. And recognizing that you each have public works staff that do a similar job to what's happening that you saw here in the presentation. But I think there could be more that could be included as a regular practice potentially if the cities wanted to fund it, to have more like cleanup days and that sort of thing. There are some that Waste Management I know puts on in unincorporated Monterey County, but I do see those fewer and far between, I think, in the actual city jurisdictions themselves. And even though we're not that far away, I know it seems very far away for some folks that live in different places of the peninsula. So
Yeah.
more can always be done.
Yeah.
I want to make a final comment because it's been come to my mind since it's been this discussion. The gentleman that the people that are dumping that live in apartment complexes, I wonder if they get a sheet of extra garbage, extra landscaping, or do their landlords get it? If I rent a house, I wonder if I get that sheet or if the landlord gets that sheet. And so maybe one of the gaps is understanding what it's like to live in a multifamily unit and maybe not have the same services that I would get at my single family home. Because when I pick up on Lapis Road, I find addresses in various jurisdictions on some of the garbage. And I think some of it's multifamily, so that might be a gap. What do I do if I have a porch full of stuff and I go to my apartment complex dumpster and it's already full? And I gotta move out, so I'm gonna go put it in my truck and maybe go do what I do. So I just wonder about the apartment unit.
That's a good point.
And other renters of single family homes.
Yep, that's a good point.
All right. Thank you, Maria. I see a comment back there from Kristen.
Just that we have, in our budget this year, we have $10,000 dedicated for an illegal dumping regional campaign, contributing with Salinas Valley Recycles. So we'll be doing a joint campaign for the whole county.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you, Maria.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to segue to Director Delgado's position as well. I think there's a lot of other people that we didn't mention that have supported the campaign. It will require everybody to participate, acknowledge, recognize this happening all over the country, in our state, in other cities. And we haven't really figured out what that solution is, but I'm feel very promised by our position that we're taking. We're starting to recognize items that are effective. Whether our volume's going up or down, I think there will be a time that awareness kicks in and starts remedying some of the volume that's coming in. So just continue that practice. Agree with Maria and Zoe's position. You know, we have one of our haulers here. Jose, thank you for attending today. Bulky items are being provided at your door. So even those ones that can't get here, they're being provided at your door. You just call, you schedule, you put it on, and voila, it's taken from your curbside. So a lot of things going on. So we want to thank the haulers. They do cleanup events, all the haulers that, you know, magically work some out. Some are requested through the county, some are requested through Board of Supervisors, but events are coordinated and happening. I want to thank the citizens for Sustainable Marina. They continued ongoing effort, Mayor Delgado's efforts to continue to recognize the concern and issues with illegal dumping. We have leaders in here, Jay. And it was the original owner of Lapis, and you know, it's transitioned over to JP with really, really good results of camera taking, a lot of interactions with Maria saying, hey, we have another one here, and they're right on it. So the coordination is looking stellar. I want to thank Zoe and Kristen for attending the litter abatement task force. Do have a recommendation for the city leaders here is making sure that someone is representing the city at these task force, and maybe an opportunity for, I hear, Director Fedori's ask of, how do we get involved? How do we participate? Maybe there are MOUs, maybe, it's a memo of understanding that would coordinate some of the efforts to get you guys started. But by attending the meeting, you can collaborate, and then the information can be transitioned back and forth. So I think that's a great opportunity for it. And I think on this item, we want a lot of chefs in the kitchen. We want a lot of people participating, a lot of feedback, and seeking the same results across the county. So thank you guys for your efforts. It has gone and has gained traction over the last 4 or 5 years. It just continues to seem we continue to add and move a little bit more to the game plan for abating litter. Thank you for your efforts. We know that you have another full-time job outside.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Okay, we'll move on to our discussion items. 8A, we have a draft compensation philosophy that is through Human Resources. Berta is not here today, so our GM Felipe is
All right,
gonna
awesome.
next.
I have no presentation today, but I do have staff memos written up. On July 2nd, the draft compensation philosophy, personnel and policy related to the employee work performance and compensations. The Personnel Committee directed staff to develop a compensations philosophy that would coordinate with our policy. On October 1st, 2025, staff presented a draft compensation policy to formalize ReGen's Monterey long-standing practices, a process of managing employee compensation. The document integrates ReGen's Monterey core strategic priority of stewardship, reaffirming the organization's commitment to the responsible and equitable management of public resources. The Personnel Committee requested the following revisions to the draft document. In section 6.3, page 3 of 3, we included the Bureau of Labor Statistics as a resource for establishing fair market wages for job classifications in the absence of sufficient number comparator organizations. Also in section 9, page 3 of 3, to allow flexible review of schedule. This may happen at a time of year that we're not prepared for it, but it gives us a process and a philosophy to practice and follow. We recommend today that the board amend or add or approve today's ReGen's compensation philosophy as recommended by the Personnel Committee. So it's been looked at several times. We'd be happy to take any feedback of maybe some additions that we can incorporate or approve as is. And we did make that we would come and evaluate this item as needed or every 4 years. So that is our recommendation to the board.
All right, thank you. Questions on this policy from directors? And thank the Personnel Committee for the work you've done.
Yeah, I would just like to make a comment to say, to thank Berta and the staff to put this together. Obviously, I also made the same comment in the personnel meeting, which is, I don't see these happening in my city. I mean, so it's a good thing that we're doing here. Looking at some general guidelines to say how we need to compensate employees. I think it's a great step in the right direction. And we have made some edits, at least to say, if we do need to review it, it comes back to us for review instead of it being like a static document.
That's good. Yeah.
I have a couple of questions. The threshold, it says 0.01%. That's a pretty fine tune. That's like 100%. You really need 1%.
I would confirm with Berta, but I would agree it's probably less than 1%, yes.
It is.
Oh, good.
Oh, I noticed that as well, Director Byrne. I didn't talk to Berta about this, but if I could offer a speculation.
Sure.
Okay. Is the idea being that anything above exactly 0 is eligible, right? And so they just chose a very fine number intentionally to say anything that's not right at the median is eligible. I think that's the reason for it, because I scratched my head on that as well.
All right.
That's good.
Awesome.
The other thing is on, I think it's 1.3. It's the 3. Sorry, no, 4. number three. It says, plus. Could you just go through that one? ReGen may consider
Yep.
cost of living increases when base wages are greater than 5%. Do you mean like they're greater than 5% of market average or?
So when we look at the philosophy for wage increases at our last amendments of our agreement with OE3, we looked at a market medium, and that was a +5 and a -5, but we also recognized that we wanted to have a bandwidth to be greater than that, so we agreed that we would consider up to 10%. To call it within the market, so there is a range, and if you're -5, you're still within the range, but we prefer that you're past the 0 mark forward, so that's really what it's identifying, the opportunity within the range. At the time we exceed 10, we will pay that out in a one lump sum to the employee, and that amount will not be purgeable, so keeping them within the 10. And this really allowed us to keep all the groups within a market. We were seeing some of the groups get farther ahead of the market, way over 10%. So this was a philosophy we incorporated 2 years ago, and it's working fine for us at this
The
point.
wording of that makes sense to me.
Yes, it does. Yes.
Which is the important thing.
Yeah.
You know how, then the third one, I think it says +5%, but then it says +10, I think you need a percentage in there.
Yes, yes,
That was just.
yes.
Let me see the other side. Then there's the cost of living adjustment, it mentions it a couple different places. Is there some protection, or is it just commonly assumed that you don't give a cost of living adjustment if they're in the ranges? It's sort of, there's two.
There is a specified amount. I believe it's the floor is 2.5%, so anything less than 2.5% would be paid at 2.5%. The ceiling is at 4%, so anything above 4%, we would only pay 4%. So those are in there with intent to control CPI. And if CPI exploded, we would have a ceiling. If it imploded, we would have a floor for it. So keeping a range within reasonableness for CPI.
So you're also balancing that with how far over they are in the
Yes.
market median?
Yes,
So there's an interplay between.
yes, yes, there is.
Okay, is there any connection between giving adjustments to how their department's doing? I mean, are there any kind of goal setting related to their performance?
It could. I think that's really when you're looking at it, what we really established here was the philosophy. I think the next one you'll see is the policy, and the policy talks a little bit greater about that detail.
And is there any reason to document the workflow about how decisions are made, like where it starts and what process it goes through? I don't know that I saw that in there.
And that is being documented already. So at the time of hire, you start at a certain, either in a step 1 or step 2 or step 3, and then we monitor from there out.
I mean, like you have certain responsibilities, then it has to go to HR.
Yes, yes.
Should that be some kind of workflow about how those decisions are made? Is it important to be in this?
Probably not. It's already developed. Yes, it is. Yes.
All right, and the 3 to 5 years, I know we talked through it. At this point, you think that's good enough?
Yeah, and I think with reasonableness that we could bring it back sooner than that time if there's any scenarios that came up. And it was a result of us looking at a scenario that presented itself, and it really asked the question, we probably should have a philosophy, and we should identify the opportunities when it imposes itself.
So you're gonna be flexible in terms of somebody that's an outlier.
Yeah, and then we would come to the board, and part of that is coming to the board and getting authorization to do so. So we'll make the recommendation. It'll come through probably the manager position, through HR, the general manager, and then it'll be presented in front of the board.
Great.
You're welcome.
Any other questions on this philosophy? Take it out for public comment. Any public comment on this philosophy? Nope. Okay, so at this point, we can go ahead and approve this. We wanna go ahead and, I'll accept a motion on that, or.
Approval.
All right, so, first by Director Prodori, second by Dr. Alexis Garcia Orzola. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No? All right, motion passes. All right, we're on to the next one, which is the revised personnel policies concerning employee job duties and pay step.
Moving changes to the job class pay schedule requires a classification and a compensation study supporting the change and board approval. So moving forward, we do make a recommendation to change some items within job description. At that time, we could perform an independent compensation study on the job being performed and evaluate the pay schedule at that time. So that was the change. And then also on section 6.33, it gives us the evaluations for where the promotions would be coming from. And so the steps advancements will be awarded by the employee's manager that wasn't written into the policy before. And it will, general manager may approve the grant approval to accelerate the step pay advancement. So we went ahead and made that modification as well to clarify who's responsible for making these pay advancements.
Right, thank you. I have a question, again, for permanent changes to a job class, who makes that decision?
So at that time, we will take that to HR and the general manager will review the class and see if it merits and warrants a permanent change to the job description based on the functions that the individual may be performing at that time. So
it's the GM.
the GM will
In connection with,
get with HR and then we will come back to the board and get authorization to incorporate and implement. So it's well-rounded all the way around, every
board
layer.
approves the permanent.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Questions on?
So I see it has some discussion about we're making a change. It doesn't say like, when does that change take effect? Does it happen in the next payroll period? Does it?
We would come and get it approved and then we would make it a formal announcement. So as it comes up, we would identify, we would like to incorporate it on X date when we bring it to the board and the board would authorize, approve, and then it would take effect
So
on,
there's no fixed.
there is no fixed date. We will make the determination based on timing of board meeting and board packet review, and then also pay cycles.
And I think the question just came up about how do you decide when that next step based on things changing?
Yeah.
I think you already went through that. I had a question about that as well. And that's good.
Sure, thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
I just want to thank Director Perdori, Director Root Askew. They participated heavily in molding it, and also Berta Torres, she put the work in after hearing the request. We went to work and we're here back to get it approved. Thank you.
Yeah, it was pretty quick, I must tell.
Good.
So thank you, staff, for getting this done. I think we're just formalizing what was already happened and now it's in a policy, so it'll be just instructive moving forward.
All right.
I move approval.
Okay, great. Let me take this out to the public. Are there any comments on this item? Bring it back. Okay, we have a first by Pedori and a second by Alexis Garcia Arzola. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, those are motion passes. All right, we'll move on to staff reports. We've got a report on the TAP from September 10th.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Quick report out on the TAC activities as a result of our meeting on September 10th. Just for your general awareness, we're meeting on an every other month basis at this moment due to more work being done for the franchise preparation for 2030. So that's why the regular TAC meetings are having a little bit less frequency because we're ramping up frequency with those same members on a slightly separate topic. But for this meeting here in particular, a subset of our TAC who was available to attend in person came for a tour. We had about 16 members arrive on site. We did a full tour through our material recovery facility, got to hear some of the advancements that have been made as a result of our operations and engineering team in the collection of materials and hear about like trends that are happening in today's recycling world, and contamination and that sort of thing. Those are always, hot topics. Some of our tech members have been here many times before, while others were new and got to see it for the first time. But really getting to see the inner workings is, helps tell the story of why we do what we do. And next we went over to the landfill and had a nice vantage point over module 7, got a chance to see that excavated fluff layer being applied and started to hear about the environmental controls in place. And really hear about groundwater, air protection through our new low C automated wellhead program. And it's not every day that you get to see a landfill in its excavation time period alongside a mound of waste that has been disposed of since the mid-60s. So it's quite a sight to see, and got to speak a little bit more with a few members about the guiding principles that your board recently adopted and kind of the new philosophy around rate setting and external waste contracts and longevity of the landfill of our life, as well as some of the infrastructure that's on the current permitted landfill space. So your TAC members are very engaged, thankfully, in all matters solid waste. Had some fantastic questions, and it's just a pleasure to host them.
That's great.
Thanks.
You talk about the landfill life, just again, thinking about education and outreach. And, when I talk to people are always interested to know what's the life of the landfill. And like knowing, I guess 100 years seems maybe a long time for people. It is, but like, just like that idea of, it's a limited resource. So anyways,
With today's standards, you are correct. Let's
Yeah.
hope that there's more advancements that,
right.
In a utopia, allow it to be an unlimited space, but you're right, it's
Yeah.
limited.
Yeah, thank you. Any questions for Zoe? Thanks, Zoe.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right,
Pebble Beach Community Services District and Carmel by the Sea are on their way to looking at their options in the upcoming potentials of either an RFP or extending, but really looking at what the needs are. We talked about some of them, that litter abatement could be an item that we include in our request. So really nice work. It takes a lot of coordination, a lot of collaboration and effort to make that happen. So thanks everybody for the support at your councils. Also, the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary revealed its newly redesigned website this month, highlighting key initiatives to protect the region's watershed. Among them is the Agriculture Field Plastic Program, which aims to reduce microplastic buildup in our waterways that flow into our sanctuary. One featured solution is the drip tape and hoop film recycling effort developed by ReGen Monterey in partnership with the end user Flipping Iron Incorporated, offering a practical approach to managing agriculture plastic waste. I'd like to thank Jay Ramos and the MRF team for making that happen. And we've been in and out of recycling, field plastic, ag plastic, strawberry plastic, irrigation plastic for years and years and years. And the market is up, down, up, down, up, down, and sustainability is always the challenge. So it's really nice to get a nice partner that helps us control and associate progress in that market and keeping it a viable one for us here at ReGen Monterey. So thank you, Jay. We also attended Oaxaca by the Sea. The city of Seaside hosted their 5th annual Oaxaca by the Sea celebration on September 28th. Residents enjoyed live performances, traditional Oaxacan dance, colorful costumes, artisan crafts, and festive atmosphere celebrating community and heritage. Approximately 500 residents enjoyed the event throughout the day. ReGen was able to provide waste reduction, education, food scrap pails to interested participants. Thank you, Franco and the comms teams for making that happen. Franco said, delicious food. I think he came home with a unique sweater, so he just really loved that event. So keep the events coming. We're happy to join. Delray Oaks Fall Picnic. The Delray Oaks Citizen Action Group hosted their fall picnic gathering on October 4th. Approximately 50 people were able to enjoy the hot potato bar, pumpkin giveaway, live music, face painting, a bounce house, and a community bonding. ReGen and Green Waste were able to educate families on the importance of their proper waste sorting and gave food scrap pails out at that event. So thank you, Green Waste. Thank you, the comms team as well on this event. Marina Fire Department Open House. ReGen Monterey participated in Marina Fire Department's open house on Tuesday, October 14th. The theme of Fire Prevention Week this year was lithium ion battery safety and how to properly dispose of lithium ion batteries. We are grateful to be able to partner with the City of Marina and the Marina Fire Department to communicate the importance of keeping our community safe from battery fires. Many thanks to Director Delgado for the support at this event. And again, comms team showing up at these events and making it happen. We really appreciate it. Mulch Madness on Saturday, October 11th, ReGen and Keith A Company co-hosted a second Mulch Madness event in partnership with Monterey Peninsula Water Management District and CalAM. Residents were able to stop by to pick up a free truckload or bag mulch, encouraging minimizing water usage on landscapes. We are thrilled to be part of this collaboration and will share information about the next Mulch Madness event to pick up free mulch. Wellness Fair. ReGen's Wellness Committee and Human Resources hosted a wellness fair for all employees. Biometric health screenings, flu shots, raffle and prizes, and giveaway of some fresh vegetables coming from an organic farm locally. That one is really important. I think it gives our employees an opportunity relative to making sure their health is in good alignment. It's a reminder. And how do we help others if we're not helping ourselves at times? So this is a definite reminder for everybody that's in attendance today is we've got to take care of ourselves in the process as well. We have a new mural. It's a result of 1383 agreement. It's going up in Seaside. Miss Zoe, what street is it on?
It's on the corner of Fremont and Hamilton.
Fremont and
Farmers
Hamilton.
Insurance
It'll
Building.
be on your right-hand side if you're driving from the east side of Seaside going up north and going towards Marina. So you'll see it. It's on a beautiful white wall building. The mural displays a woman with a bun, and it's going from food waste materials into compost materials. It's just about complete. I think they were finishing up the artwork around the major mural itself. A big accomplishment, and I think there'll be an unrevealed day in the future, and we'll get an invite put out to all our board members. Some really good items that are occurring for us. Well, maybe not a result of good items, but the results are becoming more positive for us. We did get a violation from the Monterey Bay Air Resources District Board for some methane items that we had on our well field. And we've been able to start the negotiation process, and it looks very favorable for the ReGen team as we develop what we submit to MBARD for a recommendation on how the penalty should be applied. We'll come back to this board, but just know we're in promising discussions at this time. And we appreciate that. I'd like to thank Director Ramirez. He has elaborated over maybe the last 2 years the importance of the relationship with MBARD. He continues to grab me along, says we've got to go and have these discussions, and the relationship is evident at this time that it is much improved over the last 2 years. So the relationship with our oversight compliance for our methane in our well field has improved. So thank you, Director Ramirez. We also had 2 violations on an OSHA item that we had an incident here at the facility. Our team went into a hearing and a session. Our safety manager, Anthony Martin, back there, took on this item. We did a really good job. The organization had all its documentation in line. We notified OSHA. We submitted all our documents very timely. And we were concerned when the findings came out. We had 2 violations, one that we could live with, the other we could not. It was what would they deem a severe violation. And so we wanted to rebut that. And so we went into hearing, and essentially we negotiated our $160,000 fine to just around $13,000. So really nice work in the collaboration from the managers at the MRF to document and have it, our safety team being diligent to require it, and us being prepared for an OSHA inspector and giving them all the proper documentation. So, Mr. Martin, thank you very much for all your efforts around that item. David gave the great news on the CAS extension, so we got an extension. That was a big win for us. We were very concerned whether Cal Recycle was gonna continue to hold our hand, and it was $4 million worth of holding hands. Really nice work. That's a big win for us as well. And then the attributes of saving money on the design to put them into the build.
All right, we'll move on to board communications. There is, I am responsible for appointing an ad hoc committee. So this is a committee that will come together that will help nominate the chair and vice chair for next year.
Oh, you
So,
guys just aren't doing it? I thought it was already done.
well, this is the process. So by November 13th, I'm supposed to identify a couple people to serve on the ad hoc committee. So if there's anyone who would like to volunteer, I'd be happy to hear about that. So just please talk to me about that. That'd be great.
I'll volunteer Wendy. She always does a good job.
Oh, and somebody's gone, that's, you gotta be
Watch out.
careful.
Any other board communications? No?
Yeah.
All right, thanks, everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and adjourn this meeting and we'll see you again on November 21st. Thank you.